Hi, my wonderful crochet friends. My name is Ashley, and today's tutorial are these really pretty Christmas leg warmers. Pattern is very easy and very fast to work up. And the reason why is because of these beautiful V-stitch clusters. These V-stitch clusters are so beautiful. They give like this zigzag pattern effect. Very nice. And these V-stitch clusters, they do work up so quickly. So what we will do is we will start with this easy ribbing here. And then we will join our ribbing together just like you would for a headband or a beanie. We will slip stitch across, and then we will change colors and we will begin our V-stitch clusters. And for our cuff up at the top here, you can choose to have the folded down cuff or the unfolded cuff. And this is the inside here. So when you stitch this up, depending on what type of sewing method you use, the sewing method I used was the really secure, I believe it's called the mattress stitch, and which creates these little bulges here. So if you do decide to do that type of stitch for sewing your cuff onto your leg warmer, just be aware that the inside will create this effect right here. But when you fold it, it's unseen, and you have a really nice clean seam and top edge. So for this pattern right here, this leg warmer right here, this is the adult medium. So for the tutorial, I will be teaching how to make it in an adult medium size, but no worries. This pattern is so easy to alternate for sizes. Very simple, only by just a few chains. So I will give you the instructions for the adult small all the way to the adult 2X large. And depending on if you're a 3X or 4X or above, um, I'm not for sure if the stitch count change would work for your size, but I do know for the adult small to the 2X large, the stitch count that I've worked up will work for those sizes. So to begin, all these yarns right here are medium 4 weight yarns, and I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and the green is in the color Jelly Bean, the red is in the color Cranberry, and this off-white color is in the color Ivory. And we will be using a I9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. We will also need a pair of scissors. We will need a yarn needle to weave in our ends. And just in case, if you want to measure out your leg warmer, say you want to make this longer, that there's no problem with that. You would just continue with the pattern for as many rows as you would like. But just in case, if you need a ruler, I would grab that as well to measure out your leg warmer. So this leg warmer here with the folded cuff, this leg warmer, and this is in inches. This is right at 11 inches. So it's right at 11 inches, but with the cuff not folded down. I'm pretty sure this was 13 and a half. Yes, exactly 13, exactly 13 and a half. So to begin, we will start with the green yarn just so that my leg warmer will match the one I just showed in the video. So I will start with the green yarn, and we will start off with a slip knot. And this is for all sizes. We will do the same ribbing, just different rows. So first we will start off with a chain 10. Oh, also our multiple for this pattern, if you would like to alter the size any way that you would like, our multiple for this pattern is 3. So we will start off with our bottom ribbing for our ankle, and we will start off with a chain 10. For row 1, in the second chain of the back bump, we will make 1 single crochet. So here is our first chain right here that our loop is in, and here is our second chain. So I am just going to twist it around. Here is the back bump, and get that to focus. There we go. Here is the back bump of the second chain, and we are just going to make 1 single crochet. We are going to make 1 single crochet in each chain across. We should have 9 single crochets. We will chain 1, and we will pinch right here, and we will pull, and that will tighten down our chain 1. And that just gives it a more professional look. So for row 2, we will be working into the back loop of each single crochet. So we will go right into the middle of that chain there, and make our stitches in the back loop. So we will be making a back loop single crochet in each chain across. And this row 2 right here will be our pattern repeat for our ribbing. And we should have 9 single crochets across. So we will again chain 1 and we will tighten down that chain 1 and we will flip our work. We will repeat row 2 and that is a single crochet in the back loop only. 1 single crochet in the back loop only all the way across. So for our sizes here, for an adult small, and I'm pretty sure a teenager would be able to fit an adult small. An adult small, you need to complete 24 rows in total for your ribbing here. For an adult medium, you need to complete 33 rows. For an adult large, you need to complete 42 rows. For an adult X large, you need to complete 51 rows. And for an adult 2X large, you need to complete 60 rows. And like I said earlier in the video, so the difference between each size is 9 chains, 9 stitches. So when you go down a size, you want to minus 9 chains, or when you go up a size, you want to add 9 chains. Now, I'm not for sure if an adult 3X large would be 69 rows, or if the adult 4X large is 78 rows. I'm not for sure on that. So that's totally up to you if you want to go for it. But that is our pattern for our bottom ribbing. So you would just need to repeat row 2 over and over until you complete the right amount of rows for your size. And trust me, this is going to be a very easy pattern. We are going to fly right through this. So I will meet you back at the end of our ribbing, and then we will begin the body of our leg warmer. I have finished 33 rows for a size medium. So what we will do now, we will fold our 2 sides together. So we have the side closest to us and the side furthest away from us. And this here, I will worry about weaving that in later. So we will chain 1, pull and tighten that chain 1 down. we will go into the front loop of the first chain of the side that's closest to us. Then we will go into the back loop of the first chain and the side furthest away from us. We will yarn over and slip stitch. We'll do this in each chain. So front loop, and now go into the back loop and slip stitch. Front loop, back loop, yarn over, slip stitch. We're going to repeat this in each chain. And here is our ribbing. In row 1, what we will do is we will chain 1, and now we will make 1 slip stitch in each row. So my amount of rows for my ribbing was 33 for a size medium. So that means I need 33 slip stitches all the way around for row 1. And the same goes for each size. Depending on the amount of rows you needed for your size is the exact amount of slip stitches you will need for your row 1. So what we will do is we will go into the same row right here, yarn over, and we want to make our slip stitches loose because we will be working into them for row 2. I'm going to go into the next row here. I'm going to try to stretch it up and then slip stitch. For the next row here, I'm going to go directly into that ribbing. I'm going to go directly into that ribbing, stretch up, and slip stitch. And once you make it all the way around, make sure you count your chains to make sure that you have the right amount of slip stitches. And for this leg warmer I'm making, I need 33 slip stitches. Continue with your slip stitches all the way around until the end. Make sure you count your slip stitches, and I will meet you back at the end. And I am at the end of row 1. I need to make 1 more slip stitch. I've already counted my slip stitches. And now if you look, you'll see that little knot right there. That is not a chain. That is, well, that is our chain one. That isn't a stitch. Right here is our first slip stitch. So I'm going to go right into that first slip stitch of this row and slip stitch join. I'm going to pull that down so I don't mistake that for a stitch. What we will do now is we will change colors, and my color change is red. So it's up to you what colors you would like to use, but I want a long enough yarn tail to weave in my ends at the end. So I will now chain 3. I will pull this green yarn down, that tightens that down. I'm going to fold these in the front, and now we will make our double crochet V-stitch clusters. And what we will be doing is we will be working into these slip stitches. I will yarn over for a double crochet. I'm going to go back into that same chain, that same slip stitch. I'm going to fold these over. I'm going to yarn over and pull that through that stitch and up. I'm going to stretch mine up. I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and only pull through 2 loops. I'm going to repeat this one more time in that same slip stitch. Yarn over, go into that same slip stitch, yarn over, pull that through that stitch and up. I have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and only pull through 2. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is a double crochet 2 together in the same chain. We will chain 1. We will repeat this in that same slip stitch. Yarn over. We're going to go back into that same slip stitch and make a double crochet 2 together. And that there is our V-stitch cluster. Isn't that pretty? And that is what we are going to repeat in each chain all the way around until we finish up here. And when we increase, it's only going to be just a slight increase. It's nothing big and confusing. You'll see this is a very easy pattern. So now I'm going to take these 2 yarn ends and I am going to move them out of my way. I crocheted over them for 1 stitch, and trust me, it's much easier doing it this way because we need these yarn tails to weave in our work, and we really don't want to only crochet over them because then it could come apart, and I will show you that at the end of the video. So what we will do now is we will skip 2 chains, and this is why our multiple is 3. So we worked all this in one stitch. We will now skip 2 slip stitches, and we will repeat this V-stitch cluster in that 3rd slip stitch. So we will yarn over, skip 2, go into the 3rd, and repeat. And there you go. We are going to repeat this pattern all the way around until the end, and I will meet you back there. So I finished row 2. We have 2 chains left, so we will skip those 2 chains, and then we will slip stitch join in the 3rd chain up, which is the chain for our double crochet 2 together. So if you look, here's 1, 2, and 3, and that 3rd one is our double crochet 2 together chain. So we will slip stitch join, pull that tight. Now we will change colors again. So now I'm going to my ivory color, long yarn tail, pinch, chain 3. We're just repeating row 2. Pull that red yarn, fold in front, I'm going to go into that same chain. Fold in front, and instead of going into the same chain like we did before, we are going to go into our chain 1. So the first chain 1, in between each V-stitch cluster, we will make another V-stitch cluster. So we go into that chain 1 space, go up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the chain 1 space, go up, yarn over, pull through, and up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1, and repeat, all in that same chain. We will skip over and go right into the next chain 1 space, and that is what we're doing pretty much for this entire leg warmer. And these yarn tails, when we change colors, don't worry about them. We'll just let them hang out until the end, and then I will show you the best way to hide them so that it does not unravel and it stays together perfectly. So for all sizes, this is what we will do. We are going to repeat row 3 here. So we will change colors. Every row we will change colors, and then we will work our V-stitch clusters inside our V-stitch clusters, and we are going to repeat this until we finish row 9, and we are on row 3. So we will just continue to repeat until row 9. You will slip stitch join, so once you get to the end, you will slip stitch join right here. So you will see your chains, 1 chain, 2 chains, and that 3rd top chain which is your double crochet 2 together. You will, you will slip stitch join there, and you will repeat the color change, change 3, and that is your pattern. So go ahead and work up your rows. I will meet you back at the end of row 9. I finished row 9. So our next step is we are going to change colors like we normally do. So I'm going to switch to red. So for this row, we are going to increase without increasing. What we are going to do is we are going to chain 3 like we normally do. We will tighten that down. In this first chain 1 space here, what we will do is we will make another V-stitch cluster, but this time we will make a double crochet 3 together, chain 1, double crochet 3 together. So we will yarn over, we will go into that chain 1 space, we will go up, yarn over, pull it through and up, we will yarn over, pull through 2, repeat that again 2 more times. Now we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. So this way we are making this slightly wider without increasing our stitch count. We will chain 1 and repeat this cluster again in the same space. We have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. Our next chain 1 space, we will make our regular V-stitch cluster just like we did before. So this double crochet 3 together V-stitch cluster, we will repeat this in every other chain 1 space. So in this next chain 1 space, we will make the double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together, and then in the next chain 1 space, make the double crochet 3 together, chain 1, double crochet 3 together. We will repeat this all the way around. And this pattern goes for all sizes. So you will repeat this all the way around, and I will meet you back at the end of row 10. This is row 10. So I will meet you back at the end of this row. I just got done finishing row 10. So we will slip stitch join in that third chain, which is our double crochet 3 together chain. We will now join our white yarn. Tighten that down. Now we will repeat row 10 for row 11. So we will do the same exact thing. So for this first chain 1 space, we will make a double crochet 3 together, chain 1, double crochet 3 together, all in this chain 1 space. So we're just doing the same thing. In this next chain here, we will make another double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together, all in the same chain 1 space. So by doing this, this helps to widen our leg warmer for our calf. So here for our ankle, it goes up, and about here is where we reach the wider part of our leg. So this next chain 1 space, we repeat the double crochet 3 together, chain 1, double crochet 3 together. So go ahead and repeat this all the way around, and I will meet you back at the end of row 11. I'm at the end of row 11, so I will slip stitch join. I will change colors. And this is row 12. So for row 12, what we will now do is in this space right here, we are going to make a regular V-stitch cluster. The double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together. So we'll go into this space right here and make just a regular V-stitch cluster for an increase. For the next 3 chain 1 spaces, so here, here, and here, in these 3, we will make a regular V-stitch cluster in each chain 1. Move those yarn tails out of my way. So on the next two, regular V-stitch cluster. And this is another regular V-stitch cluster. So we have 4 V-stitch clusters, one right here in this space here, one here in the first V-stitch cluster, one in the second, one in the third, in the fourth chain 1 space of the fourth V-stitch cluster here, we will make 2 sets of V-stitch clusters, and they will be the regular V-stitch clusters. So we will go into this chain here and make a regular V-stitch cluster, which is the double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together, so we have 1 in this space. Now we will make 1 more in this space, and this is our increase. So in the same space, we will make another V-stitch cluster. And now we will repeat our pattern. So for the next 3 chain 1 spaces, so this one here, and this one here. So for the next 3, we will just make 1 set of regular V-stitch clusters. In the fourth, we will repeat the 2 sets of regular V-stitch clusters. So go ahead and continue the pattern all the way around, and I will meet you back at the end. And this is row 12. And I'm at the end of row 12, and we are done increasing. So now I will slip stitch join right there in that first chain of that double crochet cluster. We will switch colors. And now for row 13, what we will do is we will just be making 1 double crochet V-stitch cluster in each chain 1 space all the way around. So just a regular V-stitch cluster, the double crochet 2 together, and then after that we'll have 1 more row. continue that all the way around. Now, if you would like your leg warmer to be longer, then after this row right here, row 13, just continue to repeat row 13 over and over until you reach the length that you want. So right here from row 13 all the way down to the bottom of the ribbing is just a little over 11 inches. So, and our cuff right here is 2 inches exactly. So just figure that up and decide if you want this to be, well, we'll have one row left after this. And so go ahead and finish up row 13 and I will meet you back at the end. Oh, and I wanted to show you, so right here, and this is row 13, when you get to this point to where you have 2 sets of V-stitch clusters here, so here's one chain 1 and here's one chain 1, you will work into both of those chain 1s just like a regular stitch. So here we have 2 sets. We'll go into this chain 1, and just make a regular V-stitch cluster. And then jump right into the next chain 1 space here. So we're doing this in each chain 1 space. And then we just continue on. And it won't be noticeable at all. Like, I can't hardly notice this whatsoever. So finish this up and I will meet you back right here at the end. I finished row 13. So for row 14, what we will do now is we will do, it's kind of a pretty cool little trick. We are going to make single crochets, but we are going to do it in a way that it completes 2 rows, 1 row in the white and 1 row in the green. And the reason why we are doing it that way is so that when we attach this green ribbing, we'll attach it to the top of the extended single crochet, which will be green. So we will have a nice clean attachment for our ribbing. Back to what we're doing here. So we're doing the same thing. So I want to stretch it up kind of high. We want it kind of loose. The white doesn't have to be loose, just that green. So if you feel like you're not doing it that well because you're not used to it and it's loose, that's actually a really good thing. We actually want this to be loose. So we're going to go in with that white and pull it through that chain. Yarn over and pull through 1. Pick up the green. Stretched up really high, that's good. And then yarn over. And you can always kind of, when you go into the next stitch and you grab that white, you can always tighten it up a bit, that's okay. But trust me, this is going to look so good. Like, this is going to look great. I'm actually very, very proud of this pattern here. And you get the hang of it. You do. Now I'm just going to rotate it just a little bit. And I'll pick up my white again, and I'll just go in and grab that white, yarn over, pull through one. Want that stretched up a bit, yarn over, pull through. When I drop that, I just pick that white back up and tighten it up a bit. And that's all we have to do for this row. So go ahead and finish this row up, and then we will begin our ribbing and put our leg warmer back together, or we will put our leg warmer together. So I finished row 14. So now all we need to do is slip stitch join. I'm going to go into that first single crochet, and I'm just going to slip stitch join with the green yarn. Pull that tight, pull that up. So we are going to clip these to weave these in. And now our next step is we need to count from our very first single crochet all the way around. We need to count how many slip stitches, or not slip stitches, single crochets that we have. And however many we have is however many rows we need to complete for ribbing. So we are going to make our ribbing just like we did before, where you chain 10, and you do it exactly like this one, but instead of this many rows, you will make as many rows as many chains as you have. So go ahead and start that, and I will meet you back, and we will stitch our ribbing to the top of our leg warmer. So I crocheted up my ribbing for the top of my leg warmer, and I want a long enough yarn tail to wrap all the way around. So what I will do is I will take this here, and I'm just going to loosely go back and forth just like this. I want to make sure I have enough, so I'm going to go back and forth like that 3 times for a long yarn tail, and then clip, and then we are going to thread this onto our yarn needle. So right here, I'm just going to open this loop and grab that yarn tail and pull it all the way through. I'm going to pull and tighten to bind that off. And now what we need to do right here, see, I'm going to bind this off as well. There we go. And I will weave this in later. So I'm just going to tuck that in like that. Let's see here. Okay, so here's my long yarn tail. I'm just going to lay this just like this. I'm going to thread my yarn tail. And now we want to attach our ribbing. So here's our beginning right here. I'm going to just go in through that first stitch here. I'm just going to move those out of the way. So what we will do now is for each row, we will sew into each chain. So now we will go back into this first row here. And pull that yarn through. I'm going to go back into that same first chain. So insert into the first chain and take the point of your needle and bring it back through from the back to the front of the second chain. And just pull that snug. Now we're going to go in from that first row into the stitches of the second row of our ribbing. So here's our first row, here's our second row right here. First row, second row. And this is all we do all the way around. So we'll just pull that snug. Make sure it's not too tight, but snug enough. Now we're going to go back into that same second chain right here. So go in from the front to the back, and then take the tip from the back to the front of the first or the next chain. And pull snug. And then we are going to repeat. So I went in through the second row. So now I need to go into the second row, into the third row. And this right here is the third row. Second row, third row. And this here is going to give us that really nice clean edge. Because of that green on the top here, it meshes in perfectly with our ribbing. So now I go back into that same chain and into the next chain. And that is all we do all the way around. And then we are finished other than weaving in our yarn tails. And I will show you how to do that as well. So now we're going to go in through the that third row into the next row. Just repeat this all the way around. I'm going to give you all a closer look. Onto that same chain, just like that. And pull it snug. Onto that same row, and back out the next row. And then that is that kind of like that bulge I was talking about. And there you go. So go ahead and finish this sewing process, and I will meet you back and I will show you how to weave in your yarn ends through these double crochet clusters. Also, as you go along, I want you to grab this and just give this a tug, because sometimes we stitch this too tight. So we're going to want to give it a nice little pull there to pull those threads and stretch the yarn thread, just so it's not too tight. When we finish working all the way around, what I want you to do is we want our seam here to look like this ridged single crochet. So what we will do is we're going to go in through. So I'm in through right here, so I'm going to go back in through just a stitch here to attach down at the bottom. Now I'm going to go on this side here, I'm going to go through the whole chain. So those 2 loops there. And then here, I'm just going to go through, not this side, but this side. So this loop here. See, and that loop is right here. It's a little hidden on the first one. Just kind of, there we go. And this will do the same effect for the front. So now we're going to go, well actually, we're going to go back into the next chain on the opposite side here. So I went in through this chain, I'm going to go in through this chain, and in through that loop right there of that chain. Then go back up and repeat again. Let's see. May have accidentally missed the loop, so I want to go back in through that one front loop. I'd evidently skipped a loop somewhere or missed it somehow. So it's kind of like a whip stitch, but you know, to create this same ribbing effect here. I'm just giving it a little tug here. There we go. So it looks the same as the others. And then of course we'll weave this in. But I just didn't want this stretched out too much right here. I wanted it kind of compacted, just like the rest of them. I want it to look seamless. So I'm just going to turn this here and take a look at this top seam here. So I'm on this side. I'm going to go back over right here. Just to make sure that's joined perfectly, and then back in through that same stitch there. That way all of this is done professionally, and we will just weave this in and this yarn tail in. Let's see, on the inside. So I would choose which side you want to be your outside and which side you want to be your inside, because right now this is our right side out, which means what the world would see if you have it on your leg. Okay, but if you turn it, see, if you folded this down, it would have that ugly edge, right? So turn it inside out. You turn it inside out so you can wear it either way. So this is the inside. So here's that ridge, right? But if you fold it down, look at that. Perfect. So you can wear right side out with the ribbing up. Nice clean edging. Nice clean edging down at the bottom. Looks very nice. But if you want to have the folded cuff at the top, turn it inside out and fold this down. Now this looks a little different from here, but it's not that noticeable. So this is kind of like a little bit of a ridge just because this is the inside of this, but it still looks great. Like look at this. I love that. I love how you fold it down. It looks beautiful and perfect. It looks fantastic. Or you can wear it this way with the ribbing up. Totally up to you. So now what we need to do is we need to start hiding all these yarn ends. And it's pretty easy. So here, let's see. Looks like I'm just gonna go in and out of some stitching. Now I'm going to go back up in the row beside it. And it's really not a big deal how you weave this in. I'm just trying to get this in here for sure. Get it in there good. Now, to weave in our yarn tails right here. So I'm going to turn this inside out to give you all a look at what we got here. And this is the inside. And honestly, it doesn't take that long to weave these in. So we're going to start, let's see, we can start right here with this green and red. And then I'll show you right here in these double crochet clusters as soon as I find my yarn needle. So this green here, I want to go back into the green. I want to hide it in the green. So I'm just going to go along this edge here. Basically want to hide the same colors into the same colors. And then also what helps is if you go back in the direction that you came. Well, there we go. And then clip close. So for this red and white here, we are going to hide these in the same color, but in through the double crochet. And I've tested it. I've pulled this apart. You cannot see it. I promise you, you cannot see it. It's in there and it still stretches good. This is the best way to do this. So I have the white here. I'm going to go back into the white. So I'm just going to go in through some of the threads of the white, pull it down. Now I'm going to go into this cluster here. So I'm just going to go in and through that cluster. Then I'm going to go in through this cluster. And not too tight, because we want it to stretch well. Give it a nice stretch. And then go back the opposite direction, or the direction you just came from. There you go. That easy. And that's all you have to do to finish and weaving in your ends. And it's easy. And trust me, it works great. That is the best way to hide these yarn ends and have it attached so well that it won't come apart. So thank you all so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. The subscription bell is right below the video. You hit that bell, you subscribe, and it will send you notifications of every video tutorial that I post on my channel. And don't forget to leave a great comment. Comments are really, really great. That also helps for people to watch the videos. Great comments and likes help in a big, big way. A lot of people determine whether or not they'll watch a video if it has a lot of likes or not. So hitting that thumbs up, that like button helps a whole lot. And also sharing. Sharing videos helps get the video out there so more and more people will hear about the channel and then they'll come join the channel. And so, yeah, we'll all grow really big together. So, thank you all so much. And I hope you'll have a great Christmas. So, I have finished row 13. So, we will slip stitch join. And this is our last row for row 14 is our last row. So we will be doing an extended single crochet, but we will be using our white and our green. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I used on this right here. So I wanted a really nice clean edge right here, a really nice clean join from the green to the white. And so the way that we're going to do this is going to give us this nice clean look here. So what we are going to do, so we need our white yarn and the color that you're going to use for your ribbing. So we will chain one. We are going to go into that same chain. We will be working into each chain all the way around. So we will yarn over and pull that through and up. We have 2 loops on our hook. We are going to yarn over and only pull through one. We're going to drop that yarn. We're going to grab our green yarn and just bear with me. This is going to look a little funny for the first couple stitches, but it works. So we are going to yarn over with the green and pull through both of those loops to finish off this single crochet. We will drop the green and pick up the white. We're going to go into our next chain here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to yarn over with the white, pull it through and up, yarn over, pull through one, drop the white. We're just going to have to pull both of these green strings just to tighten it up a bit, and you can pinch it. But you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops with the green. Drop the green, pick up the white, go into the next chain, yarn over with the white, yarn over and pull through one, drop the white, pick up the green, yarn over and pull through both with the green. And actually I kind of made that stitch a little tight. If you make this loose, the looser the better actually. So the taller and looser you make these top chains with the green, the better, because the stitch that we're going to use to do a really tight seam with our ribbing, when we attach the ribbing to this, it's going to shrink up the top here. So this top here is not going to be able to stretch as well as this. Like the body here, we could probably stretch it out pretty far. But once we seam this, I'll show you. Once we seam this right here, this is what the inside looks like. Once we seam this, it's not gonna stretch much. So just in case if you thought the body of your leg warmer was too wide and too big, don't worry, because that won't be the case when we're done. When we're done, this right here is going to shrink it up and it's going to be tight to where this will fit you very, very well. I promise you are going to love this pattern. You all are going to be commenting and saying, this is great. This is amazing. I promise you, this is very nice. This right here, I'm actually making for my son's girlfriend. He's been with her for, gosh, a lot of years. She's a really good girl. And I thought this would be a very great pattern for a young lady. So trust me, this is going to be great. I promise.